Hey guys, I'm the Technologist and this is my review of the Infiniton LED display keyboard. This keyboard was funded by Kickstarter. It has 15 LED keys and is made of solid aluminium. Unlike other keyboards, the key part of this keyboard is the software. When you first launch it, you will find a default profile that can't be edited but can be overwritten by a profile with no conditions. Here you can see I'm making a new blank profile, which we will be filling out throughout this overview. You can also import and export profiles, and I do recommend exporting profiles as a backup in case you reinstall the software. Now we're going to start with adding some text to the buttons. This is probably one of the most simple features, and I haven't found any use ideas yet that can't be replaced by images which look a lot better. There is also the ability to change the font style, which means you can have your font as Comic Sans if you really wanted to. Next up is images. One thing I have noticed with images is that it doesn't have a cropping feature built in, so your image will be full-sized. Despite this, the images look great on the screen, and the supported file types are bitmap, JPEG, and PNG. Now to get a glimpse of what the actions can do, we start with the simple hotkey. That will allow any 3 key combinations to be selected. Then we move on to the execute command, which allows web addresses, browsing apps or files, directories, and predefined links. Then we move on to this simple string, which will just paste in a simple string, and the macro function. The macro function will allow you to enter keys in combinations up to 7 times in a string sequence. Then multimedia, which will allow you to control your music and stuff, and then reminders, which I really don't have much of a use for. Going back to the execute section and selecting the predefined link of calculator, I have now set up this button. Now there are 4 other display types. These include clock, which is a clock, CPU status, which will display your CPU usage percentage, memory status, which will display the amount of memory you're using, and network speed, which will let you see the network speed being used by a specific network adapter. These will only be displayed once I have clicked save. That's all fine, but it's not a very useful profile layout. So I'm going to make a new layout, and this will be for Chrome. Then I am going to want to open and close tabs, just as a simple one. So I add a new condition. Unfortunately, due to my recording program, you will not be able to see this, but I'm selecting a Chrome executable from the Explorer window. This profile will then be displayed when Chrome is the active window. I will then set up the action and the display, which will be an image. This image will be an add sign, which will represent adding a new tab. When setting up a hotkey, make sure you don't hold down the key and instead just tap the keys you want, otherwise it will populate all of them with the first key. Then I go to the second image and select a cross to represent the closing of a tab, and set up the action again to be a hotkey, this time Control W. Once I've done this, you can see that it's set up and I can press save and exit. Now use the layout we just set up in Chrome. But first, here you can see I do not have Chrome selected and can see the other profile that we first set up. I now click on Chrome and my new shortcuts appear. A few notes on the hardware itself. The keys are membrane keys, and I have noticed a couple of times where the keys bounce back and press twice instead of once. Apart from this, the keyboard is made from solid aluminium with rubber pads at the bottom and feels surprisingly solid for a Kickstarter project. I also really like the design, and if you're not a fan, they do have a second alternative for Mac users which suits the aluminium look and feel of Macs. All in all, if you are the kind of person who uses shortcuts on a daily basis and across multiple programs and would like a pretty cool way to make them easier and more memorable, I would suggest buying this product. Though the software can be a little bit flaky at times, the physical build quality of this product is very high, and the software can always be fixed in updates later on. If you found this review useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, you can ask them down in the comments section below, and if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.